Standing Simmer here today, and welcome back to the channel for another build video. Now guys, this is a build video I'm so ridiculously excited to share with you. So I kind of hinted at this in my build video sometime over the weekend, but I am so psyched to bring you the series that this build is kind of kicking off for us here on the channel. So guys, I'm going to tell you what that is. Obviously, when I get around to it, stop beating around the bush. So guys, I have been so inspired here recently to do a series that builds up one of the worlds that we have that comes pre-existing in the game. So I have been, like I said, very inspired here recently. There are a lot of people who do this type of thing on their channel, or just personally. In fact, I actually play in a couple of amazing save files that have been put together by people both on and off YouTube. And it's such an incredible project, and I am so inspired by the people who do these things. And then here recently, also on YouTube, there are a couple of people that have started this project up on their own. One of whom is my friend Emmy Sims. You guys know Emily, probably a lot of you might. She's amazing, very good friend, but she has completely finished renovating Newcrest, and then she's now begun on Willow Creek. And so she was one person who inspired me for this. And then another is Simlessy, who has just in the last week or two announced that she is kind of officially working toward the goal of building up all of the world saves. So amazing content on all sides, and there are obviously a host of other people who are doing this type of thing as well. And so just recently I've been like, okay, Mariah, you've been wanting to do this for a while, why don't you just bite the bullet and get into it? So earlier in the week, this last week, so you guys are seeing this probably sometime around a Tuesday, possibly, at least if you are watching it when it first goes up, and I was inspired last week to begin building in Windenburg, because guys, Windenburg is one of my favorite worlds. Like if I had to narrow it down to one, I would probably choose it as my favorite world. I love Windenburg so much. It is just beautiful. I love that we get a mixture of town and farmland and island with Windenburg. It's just gorgeous. It's so pretty. The landscaping is amazing. I love playing in Windenburg. It's a really common place for me to choose for my Sims to live. And so I thought that rather than maybe renovating one of the base game worlds, which I realize renovating Windenburg will kind of restrict some people from downloading some of this content, that is that Willow Creek and Oasis Springs and Newcrest obviously come with the base game. So I don't, that would mean that people might possibly be able to download some of those lots versus the lots that I'm going to be building. So you will for sure need to get together, obviously, if you're going to be like playing in this world. I mean, that's just kind of how that works. But at the same time with this series, I actually ran a poll over on Twitter of the vast majority, over 90% of the people who voted said just to use the packs willy-nilly, like with no restriction. And I'm kind of glad that that was the overwhelming consensus, because I was really hoping to be able to renovate the world and use all the packs just kind of however I pleased, because obviously that's the really cool thing for the most part about a build save or a custom world save, that when that world save came out, EA is limited to only building using the base game and whatever pack comes with that world. So they cannot include items like Windenburg doesn't have a restaurant because they can't use items from Dine Out in order to build up Windenburg. So these are all things that I'm really excited to be able to implement into Windenburg, at least this series. I think that the name of the series, from what I have come up with so far, is Building Up Windenburg. That's kind of what I'm going to use as the hashtag for this series. So guys, all of the gallery builds will be slotted with that hashtag and so on and so forth. So if you guys hear me reference that in any build videos or any videos period, then that's what I'm talking about, is this series to make Windenburg kind of like the best I think it can be, if you could say it that way. So guys, I am super excited about this series, needless to say, and I hope you guys are excited about it too. So I have been, like I said, so inspired to put together this build save that I've actually already built 3 lots that could go in this save. This is the first one that I ever began building, so this is the first one I'm sharing with you guys as well. So my vision for Windenburg, I'm gonna go ahead and just talk to you guys about it right now, because I feel like that's a good segue into like the style that I chose for this particular build. And I really don't even have all that much time to talk to you guys about it. I mean, this video is only like, it's under 17 minutes long, at least it's looking like that at this point. I haven't really adjusted all the screenshots and all that yet, but thereabouts. So I probably need to kind of get to the point here. But guys, I imagined the part of Windenburg that we're building in right now, which by the way is the town part of Windenburg. So if you're looking at a Windenburg map, the town part is up to the right, And this is the lot that's all the way to the left of the town portion of Windenburg. So this is the really teeny tiny lot kind of on the end of that street near the water. And I think it's a 20 by 20, but I could be wrong there. It's a pretty small lot, so I'm fairly certain it's a 20 by 20. But yeah, so this is the lot that we're building on right now. And guys, the style that I had pictured for this part of Windenburg, not all of Windenburg, mind you, but just this part of Windenburg, was that it is not quite a college town, but it's kind of the closest that we can get having no university yet in The Sims 4. So I imagine that the people that live in this portion of the town live in pretty nice looking, but also kind of inexpensive-ish type houses because they are young adults that have either just gone through college or university or are currently in college or university, if you can make your imagination stretch that far. So that's kind of the goal that I was going for, especially for the contents of this house, and it's also what drives the style of some of the community lots that I'm going to be putting together later on. Once again, pretty much just for this part of Windenburg. Right now, I'm kind of tossing around some mental thoughts, very nice. I feel like that's a little redundant, but anyways, I'm kind of tossing around some ideas just in my own brain about what I think the style of every section of Windenburg will be. I've kind of got some things nailed down, but if you guys have any ideas for what you'd like to see, then please feel free to throw them at me in the comments, because I'm so inspired, once again, by people all around me, and that includes you guys. So if you guys have ideas, or if you have ideas for lots you want to see in this world, in Windenburg as a whole, please leave me those suggestions down below in the comments, because I really want to build lots, just in general, that regardless of whether you put them in Windenburg or not, if you choose to use them, are ones that you guys will actually be excited about using. So just leave me some suggestions in the comments below about what you think the styles of maybe some of the other neighborhoods of Windenburg will be, or perhaps what are some community lots or styles of houses specifically that you would like to see in this town as a whole. So obviously, guys, we're looking at quite a project. That's honestly the reason I've never attempted this prior to now, because I knew that it was going to be such a long project, and I didn't want every single build on my channel to be taken up with like a single theme necessarily. But I feel like that there is going to be enough difference between the styles of the neighborhoods that I'm going for, at least, that all the builds will not look the same. They will all be different, and they will, like, hopefully all be able to be placed in a lot of worlds, not just Windenburg, once again, if you guys aren't necessarily interested in using them for your Windenburg. So once again, super excited about this. I hope you guys are like, yes, cool, Mariah's put out a save file. I mean, you guys don't necessarily have to be that way about it, because I don't know if anyone's gonna be like quite that excited, but I'm excited to be putting out this save file, or at least planning to put out this save file. Obviously, once again, we have a little ways to go, but I am excited to be building up my favorite town in The Sims 4. So there's that. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about the house that we're working on right now, because I've already told you the size of the lot and kind of the general style I was going for. But this house I envisioned to be for a single sim, or perhaps a younger couple was kind of what I was thinking, because it's in this really, it's kind of tucked away off to the side, and it's a pretty small lot, so you couldn't really fit too much in the way of housing on this lot in particular. There is only one bedroom and one bathroom in this house as well. So I imagine it to be for perhaps once again, a single sim or a couple who is a little on the more well-to-do side of things. Maybe that they don't necessarily have to worry about scrimping and saving too much. I think that all in all, this house comes to somewhere between 60 and 70,000 simoleons, if I remember seeing the gallery description correctly. But obviously it only fits like up to 1 to 2 sims. So that all being considered, I imagine this to be for someone who is fairly well-to-do, and who is just kind of like either just starting their careers, or who is, quote unquote, going to university per se. And I just really like the way that this whole house turned out, like as a whole. It does end up with a little bit of a backyard and a pool and all that kind of stuff as well. I do leave in a lot of the landscaping for you guys to see too, because I like doing that whenever I can, just because I think it's interesting to watch. Here recently, I mentioned this in a prior speed build, I have been drawing a lot of inspiration from other people with regards specifically to landscaping. I've been kind of trying to like up my landscaping game just a bit. So I don't know if you guys care about seeing that, or floor plans or anything along those lines, but every once in a while at least I try to leave that sort of thing in. That way you guys can see kind of what's going on and what my thought process is in regard to those things. But yeah, so I do want to apologize just real quick, guys, because okay, I say this in like nearly every video. I'm getting tired of having to like repeat myself, and I don't have to point it out, but at the same time, I feel the need to, because if you're a new, watcher of my videos, I don't want you to think that, I'm just ignoring the blatant, obvious noise that's like going on in the background. I've tried to kind of plan in some of my voiceovers around that to an extent, but it's really hard to do when you're doing something like a build voiceover, because, the build is just kind of going on without you, and you're just not talking because you're trying to wait for the person in their obnoxious loud truck to pass your house, kind of a thing. So for that reason, I am definitely looking into getting a new microphone. At the date of this recording, I have actually ordered one and it's on the way. I did order one here just this last weekend. I think I may have spoken about it in a video that went up over this weekend. I forget now if I mentioned that there at all. Which is kind of sad because I actually recorded that voiceover this morning. So it really wasn't all that long ago before I was talking about this, but I did order a microphone and that I thought was going to be a really, really good, still budget, but still a good microphone. I did a lot of research. I was, looking at videos and audio for this microphone, and I was like, this is going to be awesome. Like, it came with a pop filter and a boom arm and like a lot of really cool stuff that was going with the microphone, and I thought it was going to be great. So I was so excited for it to arrive, and the microphone finally gets here, and I literally spent nearly all evening trying to set the thing up. My husband was helping me. We were like trying to not physically set the hardware part of it up, like the pieces. That was not the trouble. The trouble was getting it to be recognized by my computer and also by OBS and it not sound horrible. So I recorded, gosh, I don't even know, several dozen pieces of audio testing different features and testing testing all kinds of stuff, guys. And long story short, the mic ended up sounding poorer in sound quality than my current microphone, which at the time wasn't working, which is why I was like looking for a new microphone to begin with, was that my current microphone had just quit working for a few days for some random reason that I still don't know why it happened. Anyways, we're not going to talk about it. It was very, very upsetting. That's why there were hardly any videos on the channel last week, which I am sorry about once again. I think I mentioned that already, but I do kind of hate that that was the case because I love putting out content for you guys, and just the fact of not having anything to post for a few days because I was kind of in limbo with a mic that didn't work, waiting on another mic to get here that ended up not working anyway. Being in that place of limbo was kind of difficult there for a few days, and on top of that, last week was just kind of crazy as a general rule. So it's not the end of the world, I know, but I still kind of hated that I didn't have anything going up on the channel for the most part. I did end up uploading a few videos all in all, but nothing like too ridiculously crazy, so not what I usually upload. So I'm excited and so motivated to, while my old microphone is working, and now that I have a new one on the way, to just go ahead and get content out there for you guys, because I mentioned this before as well, but honestly, like building and playing The Sims and, using YouTube as a creative outlet is such a good thing in my life. Like, it really, really is. And I think that that's the case with a lot of people who do YouTube videos, but I just really am thankful that I have this place to be, kind of a thing. I'm really thankful for something to kind of distract me when life is, not quite ideal, if you could say. I mean, we all have times when life just isn't perfect. Actually, life, in my experience, just really doesn't ever end up that way. It's just never really quite perfect, and that's fine, because life can be messy, and life being messy is okay. But in the last 2 to 3 weeks, I've been really struggling with a couple of situations in general. This past week in particular has been it's been much better. I'm doing just fine, but there for a couple of weeks, I was really struggling. And not to say that that situation won't crop up again, because there's a very good possibility it might, but I was really just kind of, I wouldn't say in a dark place, because I know people say that, and sometimes it's true, and other times it's just a flippant phrase, but I was struggling. That's just the long and short of it. And I'm just every time I would go to record a video or anything like that, I remember just feeling very settled and very peaceful during that time, because it was something that I really genuinely enjoyed doing, no matter what else was going on around me, if that makes sense. So I hope that you guys have something kind of like that in your own lives, because that's a really special thing to have, and YouTube is definitely one of those things for me. So guys, we are on to the screenshots, and I'm sorry that I've kind of spoken about almost anything but this build throughout this whole build video. So I also kind of don't mind though at the same time, because I like just kind of talking about what's in my mind, because then it's more like a conversation to you guys. And yeah, I just think it's kind of nice. So Yeah, guys, I am going to go ahead and wrap it up right here, but this build is available on the gallery. My ID is Standing Simmer, and I put them under the hashtags both Standing Simmer and Building Up Windenburg, as I mentioned earlier, in case you guys would like to download these, and the link is also in the description down below. So, yes, once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having the best of days, and I will see you very soon. Bye!